Hey guys, did you miss me? Obviously it's been a while since my last video, so hopefully you're all still out there. Still give a fuck about me talking shit about modular stuff. I'm just going to do a quick beat breakdown. I originally started this video thinking I was going to make it about the new Miso Cornflakes module, which I might talk about next time, but I basically got sidetracked making music, which is the best thing to do. So I decided to just sort of like jump in and talk you guys through the beat I'd made. It's a really good example of how you can make something that actually sounds like almost a full track using very few modules. I cheated a little bit by using a extra sample from Ableton, but I also could have just put that sample into the Squid sample and it would have been all modular. So I don't know, don't call the modular police on me quite yet. Anyway, let's jump in. First thing I've got is this kick drum. A gate from the BeatStep Pro, which is sort of the master sequencer in this, is going into maths, and then the envelope generated by maths is going to the volt per octave in of the oscillator out of the attenuated output, so I can control how much of that envelope is affecting maths. And then the other output of maths is going into the wasp filter, which is just there to like sort of add a bit of grit to this sound. So you can see I've got a bit of resonance on there, just to sort of, you know, make it sound a little bit more crunchy. The next part of this is a rim shot, which is just a sample being played by the Squid Salmple. I've sort of decreased the speed a bit to pitch it down, so sort of you can hear the original sample is more up there. And then I've also sort of decreased the bit depth to give it that sort of bit crushed, crunchy sound, which I'm a big fan of. So next part is this sort of hi-hat sound. In this case, that's fracture. I'm actually using the trigger input of fracture to give you like a burst of these little metallic noises. And then what I'm doing is modulating the density so that sometimes you get lots of hits and a big burst, and sometimes you just get one individual one. And that sort of adds a really nice bit of random in. You can hear those three elements together here. Just using the mono output of fracture, like for this I didn't feel like I needed a stereo sound. I wanted it to be like a hi-hat right down the middle. And then it's these sort of like Japanese drum samples also coming from the Squid. So what I'm doing is there's lots of these different hits, one after the other, of different drums. And I'm jumping between them using the cue points. So you can see as it plays, it's randomly selecting a different hit, which adds another sort of element of random, and that basically fulfills the bass line in this patch. So the next thing is the Miso Cornflakes, which is a brand new module I'm super excited about. Also, Miso Complex sort of sounds nice. This is literally the first patch I put it into. I might do a video where I explore it a bit further, but it just slotted in so nicely to this beat that I already had going. I thought I'd make the beat breakdown video first, but let me know in the comments if you're interested to hear a little bit more from this module. Sort of a granular thing similar to Clouds, but it's much more like of a sampler. I know you can save stuff in the buffer of Clouds, but this you can load stuff and recall it, and it's also less about blurring sounds into long drones and much more about like crunchy, crispy, little percussive things, and also harmonic elements. So it's like a lo-fi drum beat sample basically that I just recorded in here. And then I'm using a gate from Pam's just to play and not play. The pitch is being controlled by the sample and hold, which is accepting an LFO. So just to give it basically a random stepped input. There's some cool stuff you can do when I was performing this, like, you know, just turn it on to play and then, which when you mix that in with the rest of the elements, you know, it gives you some cool effects. So the next thing I've got going on is it's just like a really simple sequence from the Mother 32. It's just synced with the BeatStep Pro over MIDI and then using its internal sequencer. The only little bit of patching that's going on is I'm using one of the Buchla oscillators as a second oscillator basically within the voice, just to like widen it out a bit. The last thing I wanted to put in was just like a sort of something a bit more melodic. So I recorded some like piano samples into Ableton. Thanks for watching, guys. I know this has been a bit of a quick one, and I know I've been away a little bit, but I'll be back soon, hopefully with a deep dive into the cornflakes and some of the sounds that can do, and then also some news about releases and stuff, so stay tuned.